Stop
that I
talking,
want a
Mr. Munoz.
DNA test.
Mr. Munoz,
I
stop.
wanted a DNA
Stop.
test.
Stop.
Ms. Chavez, can I get you to state your name for the record?
Claudia Chavez?
Ms. Chavez, did you hear what I just read into the record that was agreed to by the parties?
Yes, sir.
Now, are you still currently in agreement with those terms only?
Yes.
And are you requesting that the court accepts those agreements and make them part of the order today?
Yes. For me, I never
Ms. Chavez,
I'm sorry?
only answer the question that's been asked, please. As it relates to the issue of child support, the state has used minimum wage for the calculation of support, giving credit for the one additional child, and requesting that child support for this matter be set based off of minimum wage, and requesting that child support be set at $187 per month to begin on next month. Are you in agreement to that amount, ma'am?
Yes.
Just to confirm, you are in agreement to the father paying child support in the amount of 187, is that correct?
Yes.
Right. Do you have any additional information that you would like to offer to the court as it relates to this case?
Yes, he seems to think that I just need his money, but for me, it was never even that. For me, it's just I can't ever ask for help with anything without having to hear the put downs, the just poking at me, the verbal abuse, the emotional abuse, like all that stuff. So it's not even so much that I need his help, I need the child support. It's more of like I want like a routine for my son since it's so inconsistent. And I just want him to leave me alone, like with all the harassing, all the like, don't text me unless it has to do with my son, which is why I requested for us to talk through that app only so that the judge can see what I have to deal with. He's already texting me upset about court. Once the court started, he was already texting me. And I'm tired of it. That's the thing. It's not even about the child support. It's just, I can't do it anymore.
Thank you. No further questions for this party, Your Honor. At this time, Your Honor, the state would like to call the father here in this matter. Sir, can I get you to state your name for the record?
Kevin Munoz.
And Mr. Munoz, did you hear what I previously read into the record that was agreed to by the parties?
Yes, that lady was being rude, and I didn't agree and disagree to most of the stuff you said. So I don't know how she may agreed for myself or something. And I
All
was
right.
trying to tell her, but
Stop
that I
talking,
want a
Mr. Munoz.
DNA test.
Mr. Munoz,
I
stop.
wanted a DNA
Stop.
test.
Stop. We're not going to let you just do a whole narration of what you want to do. Mr. Tatum's asking you questions. Answer the questions as we go.
And sir, just to confirm, I'm sorry, Your Honor, may I proceed?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Your Honor. And just to confirm, sir, as it relates to this child, you previously signed an acknowledgement of paternity providing that you are the child's father. Is that correct?
Well, I wanted to get a DNA test.
Answer the question.
Yes.
All right. And is it your understanding that the child is currently receiving insurance through the state?
Yes.
And as it relates to the issue of conservatorship, are you in agreement for you and the mother to be named as joint managing conservators?
Yes.
And are you in agreement to having a standard possession order as it relates to the visitation with the child?
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's break this down. What starts as a routine child support hearing quickly turns tense. The mother stays composed, agrees to terms, then reveals ongoing harassment and emotional strain. Just as the court finds rhythm, the father disrupts everything with a sudden DNA demand, ignoring structure. The judge immediately clamps down, signaling this won't be chaos-driven.
Yes.
And you have one additional child outside of this case, is that correct?
Yes.
And you are currently unemployed, is that correct?
Yes.
And you do not want to be placed into the choices program to assist you with looking for employment?
No.
And could you explain to the court why you don't want to receive assistance with looking for work?
Oh, I have another place that I get work from. They just the job ended, so we're gonna start out pretty soon somewhere else. I'm not sure when.
When was the last time you worked, sir?
The last time I worked was last Tuesday or
And
last
when did the,
Friday. Last Friday.
and when did the job end, sir?
The last Friday.
And how much were you paid for that job?
I think it was an hour.
So you worked 1 hour?
Do you need like the hourly rate or the daily rate?
I'm asking, sir, how were you paid? Were you paid hourly? Were you paid daily?
Hourly, yes, hourly.
And how much were you paid per hour?
1650.
And how long did you work that job, sir?
It was only like 3 weeks.
And do you believe that you're going to be returning to that job?
Not to that job. They usually find jobs for us and send us out.
And when do you think you're going to be returning back to work, sir?
I'm not too sure. They haven't. I'll have to check in with them every day. They'll let us know.
And what is it that you normally do for a living?
What I normally do for a living.
Yes, as it relates to work, sir, what were you doing in that job?
Oh, it's a warehouse job.
And is that what you typically do, sir?
Yes.
Just one moment, Jonah. And when you were doing that job, so was it full time,
Yes.
40 hours a week?
Yes.
Thank you. Just one moment. If it was to be, I'm sorry, if the child support was to be based at $16.50 per hour at 40 hours a week, given credit for the one additional child, the state would request that child support would be set based off of that at $387 per month. Are you in agreement to that amount, sir?
No, I need a DNA test.
You just picked him up this morning. How
Stop,
can he looks
stop,
just like
stop. We're
you?
not in the school. This is a court.
We had a.
And
You
as it
agree with the
relates,
child support was the question, Mr. Munoz, not do you want a DNA test? I never heard anybody ask about DNA tests.
No, I don't agree to it.
all right, thank you, sir. And as it relates to the communication, are you in agreement to communicate with the mother only through app close?
Yes.
And do you agree to pay the court costs associated with today's hearing?
No,
All right, can you explain to the court why you don't agree to the court costs that will be billed today?
because I need a DNA test.
All right, is there any specific reason why you haven't had a DNA test prior to today, sir?
Yes. We currently had we had a child as well before this one, and she turned out not to be mine after we broke up. So I want a DNA test. She had
So the
them
question
tested.
was,
She had
sir,
them
is there any
tested.
specific
So,
reason?
so yes, there's a specific reason. Yes.
What was the reason why you have not taken any action to have the child tested prior to today, sir?
I didn't know I was going through court. I didn't know none of this. I take care of my kid. I have him all the time with me as well. So I didn't know I was going through court. I was put on child support because I take care of mine.
No further question for this party, Your Honor.
Now the father is under pressure and his position starts cracking. He admits unstable work, inconsistent income, yet resists reasonable child support. Instead of addressing facts, he loops back to the DNA demand like a broken record. His justification, a past situation, feels reactive, not proactive. The court sees a pattern: delay, deflect, avoid responsibility until consequences arrive. Next voice.
Thank
All
you.
right. I'm not granting your DNA test request. This child is 9 years old. You signed acknowledged paternity 9 years ago, saying that you're admitting you were the biological father, that you did not want DNA testing, and that was a legal finding that you were the biological father. If something was to happen, if you want a DNA test, you should have done that 9 years ago, not when they're putting you on child support. So you have a legal responsibility to take care of this child, and that's the way it's going to be, even if you don't like it. As
Well, we
far
had a previous child
Excuse me, I'm
before,
not
and she
asking you
turned
any
out not to be
questions. I'm not asking you any questions. I don't know why you don't understand. Court doesn't work where you just get to control it. I control it. This is my court. We're gonna follow rules and we're gonna go in this particular order. And you may not like the decisions, but that's the way it is. All right. So y'all reported there's been no family violence. Y'all agreed to joint managing conservatorship of this child, standard visitation. Government medical is the only insurance you have available for this child. Medical support is $94 a month. No back child support is being requested, so nothing's owed for the past. Obviously, y'all can't communicate. Mr. Munoz, you have a really bad problem with communicating. You do not like to have anybody talk other than you. You think your voice is more important than everyone else's. So it makes sense to me that we need to use app close to communicate since you're not a good communicator. So all communication needs to go through there, not texts, not email, not phone calls. All communication needs to go through there. You need to add the app on your phone so y'all can talk through there. You're finding that you're intentionally underemployed, and that you can make at least $16.50 an hour at 35 hours a week. I understand that you may not work 40 hours every week because sometimes you may have slowdowns, but you're not a minimum wage $7.25 an hour employee. You're 16.50 an hour, at least 35 hours a week. So what I calculated, I think what is that your child support should be $364 a month. Um, and this is not covering all expenses. This is just some of the expenses. I don't know if you're one of those guys that thinks that the mother is money hungry or whatever, that BS, things that people talk about. $364 is not going to pay all her bills and let her go on vacation and go out drinking and things like that. That's not the way this works. 364 is not going to get very far. That's just going to pay some of the expenses. And Ms. Chavez is going to pay the other portion of the expenses. Probably she's going to pay 70% of expenses. You're going to pay about 30. So understand that your 364 is not going to go very far. But so don't try to blame Ms. Chavez. It's not a smart idea to be texting people while you're in court. The other party, that's dumb, in my opinion. That's just dumb. Obviously, again, you're not a good communicator because you should be working to try to reach an agreement instead of trying to instigate and get the other person angry, which is why I say that. Uh, you have to figure out how to raise this child together. You are the father of this child. I don't know what happened with some other child, but that's not part of what I'm here for. You've had a long time to do something and you haven't done it. And just because now you're getting put on child support is not a good reason to just do DNA. You should have done DNA years ago so that this child will know, if that's the case, that whether or not you're the father. But you have chosen not to do that. You haven't taken any responsibility of your own. You're just blaming everybody else. I can't do anything about that. You have a responsibility to help yourself. If you wanted DNA testing, you should have done it before today. And so you're not going to get DNA testing ever. You're going to pay child support until the child is 18 and finishes high school. Court costs is billed to Mr. Munoz. The Attorney General's office will draft an order. Only payments paid through the child support office will count. Payments paid directly to the mother or to the child do not count as child support payments. So only payments paid through there. If you're kind of spotty with work, then you'll need to send in your own payments. If you get a full-time job, you need to let your employer know so they can do a withholding order and take it out of your check. If you don't make payments, you're going to wind up going to jail, Mr. Munoz. That's up to you. So I'm hoping that you're going to be making your payments on a regular basis so that we don't have that problem. We don't have to address that at a later date. But that seems like that's where we're headed. But I hope not. Make your payments every month so that we don't have any problems. And so that way we can budget based on the contribution that you're providing. All right, you're done with court. Y'all can press leave on the Zoom to exit out. Thank you.
The judge shuts it down with precision, 9 years too late for doubts, and the signed paternity seals it. When the father tries to regain control, the judge reminds him whose courtroom this is. Then comes the reality check, financial responsibility, communication restrictions, and consequences spelled out clearly. No theatrics, just accountability enforced. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.